Thank you, sir, for the kind invitation to share my experience on endoscopic vitrectomy. It's a pleasure to be part of this group today. So, endoscopic vitrectomy we generally do in cases where you have a poor visualization, mainly due to cornea issues, whether it's trauma, corneal infection, or a corneal scar where you don't want to initially do a graft or a temporary keratoprosthesis with graft because there can be a high failure rate in inflamed eye, and you want to stabilize the eye either in terms of infection or a retinal detachment, and then decide whether you want to do any keratoplasty or any other procedure like keratoprosthesis permanent later on. So in those cases, endoscopic vitrectomy is very useful. You have 19 gauge and 23 gauge. We commonly use 23 gauge in most cases, unless there is some hard lensectomy where it is required through the endoscopic visualization. The advantage of 19 gauge is, yes, you get much better illumination. In 23 gauge, the illumination is less, and the flexibility of the instruments is a little bit less. But yes, it is. You can do it sutureless, and it is compatible with Ingenuity also, as many of the surgeons here have routinely performed surgeries on Ingenuity, so that's not a problem at all. So in another patient here, I would like to show a case where this young girl who lives in Yemen. There was a missile attack during the war there. She lost one eye. One eye had to be enucleated. The other eye, she was barely light perception, but she had an eye which was repaired for corneoscleral tear. Uh, we had to take a chance and operate on her. We knew that there was a significant retinal detachment with barely light perception. So we did a lensectomy, and in the first sitting of this vitrectomy, we there was a lot of bleeding, massive bleeding. So we injected PFCL, did some laser. We had to do retinectomy because there was incarceration of the retina into the scleral wound. And it was all fibrosed in that area. So we left some PFCL inside the eye and took her up again after 2 weeks for resurgery. By the time the eye had stabilized, there was no bleeding. We could complete the surgery, did a silicone oil exchange, and this was how the fundus was looking. And she had counting finger 1 meter. She could see some objects after uh, two surgeries. This is another case where this patient had developed endophthalmitis with, as you can see here, there is a corneal perforation, there is ring infiltrate, and we don't want to generally go in for a keratoplasty if it can be avoided in these cases because of high rate of reinfection or graft failure. And sometimes these can be associated with a foreign body. So these are tricky situations where you have to go in, or you would like to go in to do a good job of doing a full vitrectomy, remove all the exudate. This patient also had retinal detachment actually, so we had to put glue in this case because we could not suture it. It was all infected. This patient's eye was full of exudates. So the vitrectomy itself took a long time in this patient with the endoscope. But this was 23 gauge vitrectomy. We could, as you can see, the illumination is decent as long as you are close to the cutter. But if you want a wide angle illumination, then it's very difficult to get, especially with 23 gauge. The illumination intensity is very less if you are far away from the area where you want to see, like retina, or if you want to aim at the cutter. Your light pipe has to be really close to it. So we did a thorough vitrectomy in this. The eyeball had massive exudates, but then we also, as I said, this patient had retinal detachment, so we had to induce PVD. In this case, there was nasal retinal detachment, so we induced PVD in this case. As you can see here, the illumination is a challenge once in a while. When the endoscope, you take it away from the retina, the illumination becomes less. We are doing a fluid air exchange now. Through the break, we are draining the subretinal fluid, and then we will be doing laser. And yes, you can see here, we are doing laser. Uh, and then we'll be filling with silicone oil. So in all these cases, these are not regular cases. These are tough cases where sometimes you may take a call, especially in borderline cases whether to proceed through the hazy cornea. But some cases where, like this case was totally white, we could not see anything inside. So this was a case where we had to take up with endoscopic vitrectomy. Here now you can see we are injecting silicone oil. I've also injected a little bit of triamcinolone for the endophthalmitis, and silicone oil injection has been done. So these cases are tough cases, very severe cases where you can take them for endoscopic vitrectomy. Like as I said, foreign body also removal can be done, and then you can take a call once the retina is attached. Uh, uh, and you make sure that the retinal pathology has been taken care of, then the cornea surgeons can decide whether they want to go in and do a keratoplasty or not. I think that was the last case I had. So thank you for your kind attention.